Good afternoon. So let's talk starfruit today. So starfruits, from experience, they can be a bit temperamental. And what I mean by that is they tend to over-respond to weather changes, environmental changes. For example, this one here, with the heat wave that we've been having, all the old leaves are defoliating, but that's not an issue just because there's a lot of young ones that are growing to take its place. So it's very, it has a tendency to overcorrect. So this one it's a Kari starfruit. When we first got it, planted in the ground back in March of 2018, it really was just maybe this high. It ballooned to this right here. So I've got another one right here, another Kari. This is a more matured starfruit. This one takes the brunt of the sun. It's got no problem at all. Starfruits are very versatile in that they can be grown in full sun as well as in shade. So they adapt pretty well. Just again, they do have a tendency to overreact. But yeah, starfruits, they basically bloom twice a year in the Central Valley. First in spring, and then second in fall and to winter. So I've got a couple more starfruits in the bag, which I will now take you to. So here's the bag. This starfruit, I'm not 100% sure on what variety it is. I think it's probably the sour variety. We actually got this, of all places, from a grocery store. He too is grown tremendously. When we first got it, it really was just maybe a couple feet high. And here it is. So on this guy, I suspect he was grown from seed, so it's going to be maybe a year or two before it starts fruiting. Back here, got another one back here. But before we do that, check it out. Black pearl wax jambos. It is really crunchy. I've been told in many times in the past that I should wash these before I eat them, and to which I respond, I do. I'm just using my saliva to wash it. So, I've got another Kari back here. Don't know if you could see it from that angle. It's a jungle back here. But he too is a Kari. He's actually been in the ground since June of 2018. That first winter of 2018, it actually defoliated completely. It died down way to the ground. And we pruned it heavily. And 2 years later, this is what happens. So this guy gets morning sun and heavy afternoon shade. And again, you can see he's doing really nicely. Got one more back here. Just getting these guava out of the way. Speaking of which, check it out. Tropical white. Actually, I'm changing subject a bit. I'm try to get that guy right there. It's not so big this year, but it makes it up for the number of quantities that we're getting this year. Last year we got maybe 2 dozen, but they were gigantic size. So, moving on. I've got a Kari back there, which I will now take you to. Actually, a better way might be this way. So I've got a Kari back here in a container. I'm actually using him to provide shade for this green sapote here. So he's getting basically the brunt of the sun. just like the other Kari over there, he too died completely down to the ground. I mean, it really was just right here. This is where we pruned. And I mean, as you can see, I mean, he's making a really good comeback. So if all goes well, come maybe October or so, all the Starfruits should start flowering. And they normally hold on to the fruits typically until beginning of the year. So anyway, yeah, Starfruit, they do, for the most part, they do really well in Central Valley. Will take the heat. It will need some co-protection when it's young, but once it's mature to something like this, they're usually good on their own. All right, have a good afternoon.